Hi everyone! Welcome to the Art of Online Marketing live show. And today I'm going to be answering some common social media questions like what do I post, how do I get more followers, and how often should I post? So my name is Denise Allison and I'm the owner of Strategro, and I'm a marketing, branding, and social media expert. And I work with small business owners to empower them to use online marketing tools to grow their business, grow their audience, raise awareness of their business, and to attract more customers. So because of this, I often get asked all kinds of questions about social media, and I actually turn most of those questions into full-fledged videos here. And but sometimes the scope of them isn't really big enough to do a whole video on. And in the case of today, the answers to the questions are very intertwined and interrelated, so it didn't really make sense to make separate videos on each question, so I'm combining them all together to make one big super video. All right, so you might notice here that we're in a different setting. So this is my office. And the reason we're in a different setting is because usually when I do these live videos, I'm in my living room and I'm usually doing them with my phone. So today I'm actually on my desktop. So yesterday I did a few trial runs and I had all kinds of tech issues. So if there's any tech issues right now, if you can't hear me or if you hear me echoing or anything like that, please let me know and I'll know to fix that. So anyways, when I was trying to use my desktop in the living room like I usually do, because I find that has the best lighting, it was too bright. And I looked like Lord Voldemort. All you saw was little slits on my nose. So here we are in my office, the way that it was originally planned. So here you are. This is where all the magic happens. All right, so before we get started, I want to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to know what your business is. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and hopefully I can get to them in another video, or maybe I can even get to them right here. And if you find the content of this video useful, please share it with your friends so they can benefit from this as well. Alrighty, so today's topic is these 3 questions. So what do I post on social media? How do I get more followers? And how often should I be posting? So the short answer to all of these is it depends. And there's no one answer to any of these. It all depends on you and your business and your audience. But I'm going to get you started. There are some common themes that go through all of these questions. So I want to get you started on the right foot. So that's what today's video is about. All right, so first question, what do I post on social media? So tell me if this sounds familiar. You're super excited, you start a new Facebook page or an Instagram account for your business, you kind of fill in the blanks. You put in your logo, you put in your address and your phone number, and voila, and you put in your first post that's welcome to our Facebook page, please follow us. And then 3 weeks go by and you haven't posted anything else. So yeah, this happens a lot. So one of the first mistakes people make with their pages is they only post when they remember, or they only post when they have something, a sale coming up or something big that's happening. And this is a really passive strategy. And I want you to have an active strategy. I want you to be actively posting and getting new followers. So this means posting regularly with the intent of attracting your ideal customers. So the only way that you're going to create some buzz around your business and your social media page is to post regularly. So the thing is, if you're asking the question of what do I post? You probably skipped an important step in your business, which is the branding phase. So this phase is the foundation for all of your marketing and all of your messaging and communication, online or otherwise. And people often end up skipping this step because it's a lot of hard work. It takes time. And it's not all that glamorous to work on your branding. It's really frustrating. Trust me, I know, I've been there, and I've also worked a lot of people through this process. And sometimes you're just so frustrated and you just want to skip it and get into creating things, but you can't because then you don't know what to create. So in this branding phase, you need to sort out what you're offering, who your customers are, what their desires are, their pain problems, and what they want from you, what it is you can offer them that's going to solve their problems. So once that foundation is set, creating content for online marketing and social media becomes way, way easier because you know who you're talking to and what message you want to share with them. So it all comes down to knowing your ideal customer. So once you have a solid understanding of who they are, it becomes way easier to create that content that's for them. So your goal is to get your customers to know, like, and trust you. I said that before. So you need to figure out what kind of information your audience and your ideal customers need from you in order to move into that know, like, and trust phase. So based on this, you create what I like to call your anchor, or also known as a hook. So your anchor is a bigger piece of content that you share on a regular basis. And this piece of content should be educational, informative, and entertaining. So for example, I share these videos. These videos are my anchor, and I produce them every single week. And I share information that hopefully you can action. And in turn, I am also hopefully gaining your trust and getting you to like me and trust me and to understand that I know what I'm talking about here because of all the value that I'm sharing with you. But then you'll also need to sort out all the secondary content that you want to share with your audience. And this is content that you use to support your brand. So this is like behind the scenes pictures, pictures of you at events, and that kind of thing. A post showing you and your personality and the personality of your business, which of course is your brand. So it's showing your customers what experience they get when they work with you. So coming up with these ideas can be a challenge, especially in the beginning, but make sure that you listen to what your audience is saying online so that you can create content geared towards them. All right, so next question number 2 is, how do I get more followers? So for your social media to pay off, you need followers, otherwise you're talking to nobody, and you need followers beyond your mom and your aunt and your cousin. And I mean, it's great to have those people on board with you, supporting you, but they probably aren't your ideal customers, and you definitely need to broaden your scope of people who like your page or who are following your page or your account online. Otherwise, nothing you post really matters because it's not getting in front of the eyes of your ideal customers, who ultimately in turn come and buy from you. So the short answer here is you need to give people a reason to follow you. So no matter what platform you're using, your goal should always be quality over quantity. So having 3,000 followers isn't going to do you any good if they are not your potential customers or your ideal customers, because they're not going to interact with what you're saying or buy any of your stuff or give a crap about what you're saying online. So you got to make sure that it's people who are actually potential customers who are following you and liking your pages. So sometimes I get asked how many people you should be aiming to have like your page or follow you on Instagram. But I mean, there's not really a threshold for this, and it really depends on what type of business you have and what your goals are and that kind of thing. So, I mean, one thing I'll say is if you're selling coffee, if you have a cafe or coffee shop, you should be aiming to have a lot more followers than someone who sells houses or something like that. Mostly because you need to sell a bigger volume of product to make your business reasonable. So do you get where I'm going here? If you're selling coffee versus houses, you definitely need more customers. Therefore, you're probably aiming for a higher amount of people following your page and liking your page. But I mean, other than that, I would be inclined to set a first goal to get 500 Facebook likes. If you're lower than that, you probably still have a high percentage of like your family and your friends liking you and liking what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you can't have some success, but I would be aiming for 500 first, and then for 1,000, and so on and so forth. If you have 37 likes, you probably need to put a bigger push on getting more exposure there. All right, so how do you get more followers? That's the question at hand. So this is the $1,000,000 question here, and it's not really a simple answer, but you need to put out content that people will relate to and that has some meaning for them and that they find valuable. So you need to post things that your ideal customers want to see. So since people are bombarded all the time by all kinds of contents and billions of Facebook posts a day, you need to give them a compelling enough reason to follow you and pay attention to what you're saying. And if all you're doing is posting your products and asking them to buy from you, that's not good enough. It's not going to give them a compelling enough reason. So why should they give their attention to you instead of somebody else? And why should they give their attention to you versus, say, your competitor? So you need to, again, rewind a few steps and go back to that branding question we talked about in number 1. So you need to define who your ideal customer is. You need to know who those people are. I mean, as much as you want to attract everyone and anyone and their dog, you just can't do that, because if your message isn't clear and if it's not speaking to your ideal customers, unfortunately you end up having a really muddled message and it's not speaking to anybody. So you really need to niche down and know who your ideal customers are and what they want. So figure out what types of posts will speak to them and that they'll find valuable. And make them care about what you have to say and follow along and be excited about seeing you every week or every day or however often you put out content. But the goal is to make them care about what you're saying and to really be listening intently. So you'll never attract followers beyond your mom and your aunt and your cousin if all you're doing is promoting yourself. I think I said that, but you need to create some valuable content that people can put into play that will get them wanting to come back for more. So you need to figure out what they want to know, what they need to know, and how to get them to know, like, and trust you. All right, so question number 3 is, how often should I post? So this is another instance of quality over quantity. You could post every single day and it might not do you any good if you're posting junk. Right. So you need to put up content that your audience wants to engage with and cares about. So you want them to like it or share or comment on it. And by doing this, by posting content that people are engaging with, so they're taking some type of action on the platform, it's showing the algorithm of the platform you're on that your content is useful and is valuable, and in turn it ends up showing that content to more people. So it's more important to put valuable posts and quality posts up there than to post every single day but post content that nobody really interacts with or engages with or sees as valuable. That would actually be doing you a disservice. So quality is the most important thing here. But that being said, I generally suggest posting at least 3 times a week. And if you can only post 3 quality posts a week, well, that's just the way that it's going to be. Like I said, I'd rather 3 quality posts than 7 or 80 crappy posts. All right, so keep in mind that the platform you're using does have some impact on this. So if you're on Twitter, I would suggest posting multiple times a day. And that's just because Twitter is busy and there's all kinds of tweetiness and busyness going on. And the lifespan of your post on Twitter is just a lot shorter than it would be on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else. So you need to be posting multiple times a day to get some traction there. And that's actually one of the reasons why I don't really love Twitter, because it's constantly having to post things more often than you might on some other platforms. On the other hand, on Facebook, you should probably be aiming for about once a day and posting most of the days. But if you start posting 3 times a day on Facebook, you're actually going to see a negative return in your engagement levels and your reach just because you are bombarding people with you and your message. So I would stick to about once a day. I usually aim for 4 or 5 times a week. There are definitely days that I post more than once, and that's on days like today where I announce that I'm doing a Facebook Live and then I do the Facebook Live. So that naturally means me posting twice in that day, but often I'll keep it at one. But there are some times in your life and your business where you're gonna post more than once about your business on your Facebook page, and that is fine. But as long as you're not making it a habit to post multiple times a day, every single day. So again, I would aim for between three times a week and every day. And then for Instagram, you want to be aiming for somewhere in between. You definitely don't want to post multiple times a day like you would on Twitter, because again, you would have that negative return in investment to get technical, the negative ROI, but you would see a negative return in your engagement and your reach and that kind of thing. But you can get away with posting a little bit more than you would post on your Facebook page. So somewhere in between. So again, three times a week, well, probably more than 3 on Instagram, but a few times a week to every single day if you're using Instagram. So on that note, if you're using multiple platforms, like if you are on Facebook and Instagram and on Twitter, I definitely don't suggest regurgitating the same post for all of those platforms. So each platform has its own functionalities and cool tools. So I want you to take advantage of what they're each offering, and I want you to make each of your posts specific to the platform you're on. So there are some things where you will want to post everywhere. So for example, if you're doing anchor content, like your big piece of content every week, I want you to share it on all of the platforms because it's really important. But you want to give each of the platforms its own kind of vibe, because if you just post the same things to each of the platforms, one, you're losing out on some of those cool tools and advantages. 2, each platform is a little bit different and it does favor some things over others. And 3, you're not giving your fans and your followers a reason to follow you in more than one place. So if you're just saying the same thing on all platforms, it's not really worth being on all platforms, right? All right, so okay, where are we? Okay, sorry. I went off on a tangent and then I wasn't following along my plan for today. So I really want you to post, while we're on this topic of anchor content, your anchor content, you need to post that once a week. And that means your blog or your video or whatever it is you're using to post your anchor content, you need to be doing that once a week, every week. And I know that sounds so overwhelming, but that is really the way that you were going to get in front of people and start creating that buzz and raising awareness of your business. So I know if you've never done it before, it can be overwhelming, but posting your anchor content once a week, that's really the zone where the magic starts to happen. So real talk for a second on the same topic. You can post selfies every day or pictures of your coffee every single day, but they don't really mean anything if you don't have that anchor content. So these other types of posts are there to support your bigger message and your bigger piece of content, which are coming through in your anchor content, otherwise known as your hook. So those posts alone aren't going to grow a meaningful following. So you need to have that anchor content on a weekly basis to really be getting those followers and getting people to engage with what you're saying. So I know the posting pictures of things can be easier and they can get a little bit of engagement, but your fans will get tired if you're not posting something of value. So you need to provide your followers with an incentive to learn more about you, take action, and follow through on those next steps. All right, so there you have it, the quick guide on what you should post, how often you should post, and how to get more followers on social media. So thanks so much for joining the show today. I hope there were no tech issues on your end. And again, if there were, please let me know so I can fix it. So if you want to learn more about social media, you can get my free download, 11 Mistakes Preventing You from Turning Your Followers into Loyal Customers, and you can get that on my website under free stuff. And I'll also add in a link somewhere here. Also, if you are local, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a lunch and learn at the Grand for the Yarmouth and Area Chamber of Commerce. And it's from 12 to 2, and it's how to actually attract customers with social media. So if you want to attend, get in touch with the Chamber of Commerce. And another thing is I mentioned a few weeks ago that I'm doing 40-hour training, social media marketing training, also through the Yarmouth and Area Chamber of Commerce. And we've actually added a second course. So that gives more people an opportunity to come into my course. And that's starting September 20th. And it's free to all chamber members. So if you're a member of the Yarmouth and Area Chamber of Commerce and you want to spend every week for 10 weeks with me learning about social media marketing, definitely get in touch with them and sign up for that. And I'm super excited about this one. Next week, we're going to have our first guest star on the art of online marketing. And it's Cynthia Ferry from Keen Eye. And we're going to be talking about 5 impact guidelines for your website. So again, that's next week at 10 a.m. And so you can catch me every week at 10 a.m. on Facebook Live. And you can catch all of my previous videos either on my Facebook page or on my website. So thanks everyone for joining me today, and I'll see you next week when Cynthia joins the show, and we'll be talking about websites. All right, see everyone next week or tomorrow if you're coming to my lunch and learn. Okay, bye.